Right, the centrepiece when you come in is 50 years of the Renault 5. So there are 4 beautiful 5s, all from 72 onwards. Again, it's makes you feel very old when I see cars like this. People telling me they're 50 years old, but there you go. This is Moto Retro Rouen. Well, one of the first things we come across is a rather splendid array of Vespers. Cracker in orange. Sprint, is it? Or is it a rally? Let's have a look. A GTR, so it's very, very similar to the rally, but it'll be a 125. And in a multicoloured version. Very, very different. Right, there's an auto jumble inside, which is already very busy. It's only about 9:30, and the auto jumble part's busy already, so I'm not going to be able to do much filming in there. So let's have a quick walk round outside, see what's turned up. And first up, a rather spiffing H-van. Castrol decorated, some 2CVs coming in. Next to a nice Suzuki TS. And then a lovely Estafette, an 800. Very original, still got this little plastic badge on the front, which often falls off. Beautiful van. Next to a Simco 1100 in gold, which was a popular colour in the 70s. Peugeot J9, or is it so? I always get confused between the 9s and the 7s. Anyway, Peugeot Minibus, which were used as dolmuses in parts of Turkey for a long time. I suspect they must have built them there. Visa, nice Capri, 4 headlights, so it's probably got the bigger V6 motor in it. Let's see what the badge says. Just says GT. I may be confusing myself there, but no, I'm right. 2.6, so it has got the bigger engine. And then 3 Maharis in quick succession. One in fetching pink, an unusual colour. And then an orange. I had one in orange, 4-seater, the early type. Later type grille, earlier type grille. Mine was the earlier type with the early dash. DS. Pair of lovely tractions. The one here initially unrestored, and then the one next to it beautifully restored. To be honest, I think I prefer the one in its original state. It's just got a bit more charm, but anyway, personal preference. And an Amiate estate. Lovely, that's really nice. Yes, beautifully done. Bench seat, early steering wheel. Peugeot 204 estate. Used to see a few of the 304s in the UK. They were quite popular at one time. And then an AMI 6. Beautiful Panhard, unusual colour as well. Renault van, F4. Next to a 6. And then another 6, a beautiful condition 6. Again, there can't be many of these knocking about in the UK anymore. Next to yet another F4 van and a Morgan. Another rarity here, a Renault Celticat. I like the perforated wagon style wheels, big boot. And next to it, a very nice, very shiny 12. And then a little Renault van next to another Estafette. And directly opposite each other, we've got a Matra Simca Bagheera in a fetching turquoise. And directly opposite, another one. 16's very nice, looks unrestored, very, very nice. Next to Porsche 914. Someday I used to have one of these. slightly scabby one. This one's been fitted with fatter wheels, and it's for sale. And then a 504 Coupe. There's an outdoor auto jumble as well, which is huge. Mind you, the parking for the classics, as you can see, is pretty big as well, and they're still pouring in. It's still only about 9:45. And another Bagheera with Bagheera on top. Somebody has a good sense of humour. A little 304 convertible next to a rather beautiful Renault 8 and a GS, which I think, going by the colour, is one of the limited editions. An X3, in fact, yeah, an X3. Don't see so many GSs about anymore, even at these car shows. Lovely Renault 750, and then a couple of Mustangs, and a Vedette on the move. Big, stylish, late 50s, probably 50s, early 60s. Beautiful. Next to 2CV. And then 3 AXs, a couple of sports. In fact, is it a third sport as well? Yep, 3 AX sports. It does feel slightly strange, given I can remember the AX launch. I've still got a pen that I was given by the Citron dealership when the AX launch carried out. So it does feel odd seeing them at classic car shows. More Renaults and Peugeots. And then stuck in the middle, a compact Buick. Next to a DS Safari. Now I don't know what this Buick is. I'll just tell you, it's a 1962 Skylark. So not one of the bigger American cars, as it's shorter than the DS estate next to it. Very stylish, though. I wouldn't mind something like that if you could find one. And then a very green Renault 4. This must have cost a fortune to do, because the upholstery's been redone in a matching green in what looks like leather. Certainly leather sides, I should say. Material down the middle. And then it's pulling the back end of a Renault van, which has been converted into a trailer. And then a Simca. I can't remember the number. Is it a 5? I can't remember. Simca, which is basically a Fiat Topolino, to which is attached a probably late 50s, early 60s motor chicane. Next to a 2CV, a red 2CV, like mine. And then a very late Renault 4, missing the rear quarter lights again. More 2CVs, and then a rear engine Simca 1000, and then a nice yellow Mahari, again with a matching moped, a Moto Conform Mobux. Now I seem to remember this also being sold as a Peugeot, X-Series Peugeot if I remember rightly. So it looks like bringing your moped along with your car is now a bit of a thing. And an SR500. These continued for sale in Europe long after the British stopped getting them, and they also came with drum front brakes. Then another couple of H vans, this one with an extension on the back, and the sides have been manufactured with alloy runners and plate. Steel on the back, that looks like alloy. So not original, not factory, somebody's own conversion to make it more usable as a camping car. And then a beautiful SM, such a magnificent looking car. And then another H-van, Bureau de Poste. I remember back in the 70s into the 80s, early 80s, they used to use H-vans as mobile banks as well, which would go around all the villages collecting deposits and things, doing all the usual banking stuff back in the days of service. Even the gendarmerie join in. How about a classic water cannon for riot control? next to a 21 2-litre turbo, which has probably done the rounds up and down the motorways. And then a police mattress sport, a D-Jet. Scale model, anyone? Very big business in France, the scale models. And then a few more bikes are rolled in. We've got a DT Monoshock 125 Yamaha, and then a Kawasaki trail bike, can't see a size on it. Rotary valve induction on these, which you can probably see just down here on the side of the motor. They went to ordinary carbs later on in the production. Never as big a seller as a Yamaha, but highly regarded in their abilities without a shadow of a doubt. And then an SL125, but not the spec that we got here in the UK. Similar, but not the same. A CB125, is it, next to it? Yep, twin. And another SL125. And an MZ ETZ, a motorcycle I once owned. And very good it was too. And then inside there are a few rather fancier cars, including this 1933 Berliet, 1600cc, 4-cylinder, 4-speed, very modern for the time. And next to that, a 1930s, mid-1930s probably, Panhard Dynamique, a massive car with very Art Deco styling, but still capable of doing about 80 miles an hour. So this was king of the road at the time, in style and ability. Stunning. And then a 1925 Citroen C3 Cabriolet, next to which is a BX, which are becoming a lot more collectible now. They hit 40 years old, and people are starting to realise, I think, just how good they were. And then if you want to see what a 1920s Citroen looks like under the body, this is it. You've got a very skimpy metal framework, and it is skimpy, with wooden body attached, and then front quarterly springs and tiny kingpins, probably smaller than a 2CV's kingpins. No visible signs of front brakes on this one, presumably it had some, and then various bits of engine scattered around. A big project for someone, rear wheel drive, you see the axle at the back, maybe, maybe not. And then a beautiful early 30s Rosalie. Look at those marker lights, probably not indicators at this time, probably marker lights. Absolutely stunning and in beautiful condition. Let's see what's on the back. Oh, it's got a boot box, lovely. And then a 1950 Type A 2CV in its very distinctive metallized bronze colour, I suppose. Again, very rare one so early. A 2CV club car, so presumably it lingered in the Normandy barn for some time before being rescued and restored to this superb condition. So we'll have a long boot lid. Yep, long canvas boot lid. And I think French ones at this time, I think in 1950 at this time, they didn't even have a stoplight. They had a reflector on the left and then a number plate illumination light in the middle and no stoplights, which gives you an idea of how few vehicles are on the road. And there's something new you learn every day. This is a Citroen Visa, as you can see from the front, presented by the LNA Visa Club of France, and it's badged up as police, which I thought was somebody just playing. It's got a blue light, big orange flashing lights on the rear. However, according to the club information, these visas were used as local patrol cars between 1982 and 1988, when they were replaced by 205s. They were all, in the main, just local runarounds, but I didn't know the police had used visas. So there you go, Citroen Visa Police. And then if you wondered what a Panhard engine looked like from the PL range, luckily there's one here in bits. It's got a starting handle like a 2CV, large rubber mounts which attach to the exhaust downpipes, which is very unusual. And then, oh, a gentleman's very kindly demonstrating, merci beaucoup, the motor turning. Overhead valve, flat twin, just like a 2CV. Dynamo mounted on top. Dynamo?
No, démarreur.
Ah, sorry. Démarreur, starter, and then the dynamo on top, driven by a belt, comme la 2CV. Oui? Yeah. A wonderful working cutout. Superb. Carburetor mounted high with tubular intake. And then chauffage pour le carburateur. Oui, oui, c'est bon. Et la boîte de vitesse, c'est 4 vitesses. Oui.
Plus marche arrière.
Oui.
La boîte, c'est ça.
Yeah, very small gearbox. Yeah, rear mounted differential on the back. Yeah. And then the mounting, rear mounting as well. Petrol pump. Pompe d'essence. Oui. Superb. Ah, distributeur, oui. Oh, oui. C'est bon. Merci beaucoup. And then round the corner, we have a row of Panhard Juniors. All in beautiful condition. From the Panhard fan club. And then we have a Ponsin 6x6 aquatic, used by the fire brigade, who also do emergency rescues and things in France, and is complete with a stretcher on the top, so presumably beach rescue. Now these are powered by the Diane engine, mid-mounted, fiberglass body to make it waterproof, of course, and what looks like a Mahari seat. So again, I've never seen one that's been put to use such as this. Again, must be very rare. Well, there's a badge you don't see very often, the CX-TGI, not one I'm aware of. Very late CX. And this one was used by the intervention squad of the gendarmerie, which again, I've not heard of. I'm not sure what they do. But clearly a pursuit vehicle of some sort, because it's unmarked and the blue light, which is handily placed, is on a internal power and magnetic base. So, but sort of semi-paramilitary, I would assume. Anyway, very late CX. It's opened it up for me, and we can see the radio control and also the CIGN badge affixed to the seat. Otherwise fairly standard CX, but a proper police vehicle. Superb. 2CV 24-hour race car. I've seen plenty of these in Belgium at the Spa 24-hour race. And then a chopped 2CV. I nearly walked past it without noticing. It's a fake ripple bonnet with French tin headlamps, but the roof line's been chopped, so we've got much smaller windscreen, smaller doors, and it's been done very well. So well that I didn't really notice, because it looks so good. Exceptionally well done. Very ZZ top. Corner, a Mark 1 Crawford convertible, UK registered. Again, not something you see every day, and certainly not something you normally expect to see at a French classic car show. All the right badges on it, GT badge on the rear. Standard, quite basic plastic interior, but it suits the car. Another unusual vehicle, a military vehicle this time, made by Law, four-wheel drive based on 2CV, but with some rather unusual differences. There's the engine. Now that looks suspiciously to me like fuel injection, which of course none of the 2CVs ever had. Now it could be a Visa motor, I suppose, but they didn't have fuel injection either. No, it's not a Visa motor, it's running a black coil. Okay, so it's still a 2CV motor. The gearbox is tucked away down there, and then it runs lengthways front to rear off the original output shafts that would have made it front wheel drive. But then there's also this running off the alternator belt, fan belt, which I'm not sure what that's for. I can't see that it is attached to anything particularly. I don't know, maybe power steering. Yeah, maybe it's got power steering. And then it's still got interlinked suspension with parts, and use standard front and rear arms. The dash, FL 500 law. Standard 2CV looking front end, discs. Petrol tank in there behind the gearbox, which again looks fairly standard, apart from all the different linkages. Exhaust looks the same. Interesting vehicle. Got a French car, fancy a manual, take your pick. And then just upstairs in one of the main halls, we've got this beautiful Samsung, exquisitely restored, wooden bodied. Absolutely beautiful. Copper nails in the wood, which I'm assuming will be original. Boat tail. A stunning car. And then next to it, another Samsung. More modern, but 1950s I assume. And then tucked away an information stand, a Dresden Triton. Then a couple of Simcas, an 1100 hatchback, very advanced car for its time. And then a Simca Tagora, which we had in the UK as a Talbot Tagora, which I cannot remember the last time I saw one. It's a very long time ago, whatever. 2.6 litre this one. Huge family car. Wouldn't it be great to find one somewhere? Tucked away in a garage. And then a bevy of Vespa 400s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. And one of them's got the boot lid open. So let's go and have a look at what a Vespa microcar is powered by. And there it is. So we've got a petrol tank, 2 coils, a blown air system run off the crank to keep it cool so the engine is completely shrouded, 2 cylinders, dynamo up top, and then what appears to be, it appears to be a 2-stroke hand cranked injection pump. I can't think what else that could be, which is strange. I can't see why it'd have a hand crank on it unless it's for priming. Very unusual. Then the Motorbicane Club of France has got a very large spot, including this very early 1900s 2-stroke. And then slightly easier to date, we've got the 125 twin, and then a racing 350 triple. Have a look on the playlist. I did a video about the 350 triples, very rare. I just love them. And then the 500 prototype. He didn't make very many of these, single figures I think, so very, very rare motorcycle. Very rare motorcycle. I wonder if it runs. And then another 350 Motor Comfort this time. The badging between Motor Comfort and Motor Bacane were interchangeable. And then next to that, another 350 triple. I don't think I've ever seen this many 350 triples together before. Somebody's made an adventure bike with the 350 triple, which is next to a 125 Racer again. So there you are. An XT500. I think I mentioned earlier that this range, the SR XT, were very popular in France. And this one went round the world in between 1990 and 1992. It's got this original small tank on at the minute, but the large tank they used on the floor. So very well travelled XT, and the people who did it have written a book. So if you speak French, you can see exactly where the book went. Sadly, my French isn't up to that. Police vehicles seem to be cropping up here. So we've got a 600cc R60 7/7, so it's got this front end. Ex-gendarmerie again, so I remember these patrolling up and down the Route Nationale in the 70s and 80s. RS style fairing. You think the RT would have been more suited, but there you go. Hotchkiss from the early 50s. 3.5 litre these, I think. Somewhere around there. Again, majestic styling. And huge. Makes a DS look small. And then a Dauphin, fresh from the Grange. Looking rather rusty. But, having said that, a lot of it's superficial. Yeah, usual seams in the rear wing to body tub, stuff like that, which they're notorious for. But it is mainly superficial. Definitely one to be saved. Bikes are turned up. Motor Guzzi 850 GT, late 60s into the 70s. An XS 650. Drum brake front end, so probably an XS1 rather than XS2. I remember Bike Magazine did a road test on one of these against a boiling frame BSA like mine, a Thunderbolt, not a Firebird though. And apart from the rather flexible handling, they were impressed. Which is probably why Yamaha are still going and BSA are not. Lovely old Peugeot van. And a Vedette on the way in. And just across with a 2CV Special without the custode window. 435 in most countries. I think Switzerland got 602 and somewhere else who I can't remember just at the minute. Switzerland and somewhere else got 602, but they were all 435s in France. Stripped out. Should be a bench seat in the front. This one's got a pair of seats. It should be a bench. Hemi 6 Estate next to a 2CV Spot, and then an Hemi 6 Club with the 4 headlights next to a Super Campus, a late Renault 5, and then a Renault 10 next to an Auto Union, but an Auto Union what? Let's look at the back. A DKW F12. So it'll be a 2-stroke triple. A very stylish interior for a budget car. I don't know how well it'll come out because it's very, very contrasty in the sun at the minute. But yeah. Next to a huge Buick. Opposite a GSA. And a Barracuda. Plymouth Barracuda. Look at the rear end on this. Well, contrast and compare. You have the classic rear end of a DS23, and then that. Look at that glass. Look at the Barracuda symbol on the back. Stylish. Panhard Estate waiting to come in. Two-tone green. Again, a rather fetching rear end. And across the way, an AZU 250. Another 17. A TL. In a sort of metallic goldy colour. Very stylish little coupes. I don't know how many they sold, I must look it up. Because I say I don't remember seeing one in the UK for a long, long time. But they are very stylish. Those lines are captivating. And another XT. Told you they were popular. A later incarnation, this one. Very clean. And next to that, a Commando 750. Green spot speedos. Again, very clean. Been converted to a single carb, has it? Yeah, converted to single carb. Looks like a Mikuni. Now, the Auto Jumbled is popular, but the prices vary hugely. So somebody's trying to sell a second-hand Type 4 Volkswagen engine for €5,500. And some of these signs, display signs, new and reproduction, are very expensive. And then there are others selling motoring ephemera, you'd say. I've just seen one with a huge engineering spanner, it must be a 3 foot long, for €12. So we have a low run production artisanal kit car badged up as an MG4 with MG badge seats. So as I wander around, I want you to guess what the running gear is, because it's rather unsurprising. It's rather surprising, I should say, not unsurprising. Nice wire wheels and a classic style. Vaglear instruments. Very nicely done. So, are you ready for a guess? Because it came as a shock to me. This classically British styled MG badged also has another badge, a Renault, because it is underneath a Renault 4 van. Chassis, running gear, everything. Hard to believe, isn't it? But there you go. Lovely, very early CX. It's a 76, so very early on, in great condition. Still with its tax badge from 1976 on the window. And an interesting moped, KS50 Zundap. Very powerful little bikes, these. Very popular in Holland. Very, very nice. Beautiful paintwork. Zundap trophy. You can't really ask more of a 50cc bike, can you? Cast wheels, disc brakes. Very, very nice. The MZ's getting ready to go. So, since I arrived, the visiting motorcycles have turned out in force. Anyway, let's head to the car park that's reserved for classics. So, Renault 4 coming, oh no, going out, it was coming in. I think the main showground section is full, which is why they're having trouble getting in. Trabant coming in with a nice beige 2CV parked opposite. Yeah, this is the way into the arena, but it's pretty full. Nice wave from the driver, 2CV, a Corrado I think, not sure, and another couple of 2CVs behind that, so let's have a walk through. Again, a very distinctive sound that we all love. The visitors who didn't get into the arena, So we've got an E-Type, Toyota Celica, a Renault, is it a Floride? It is indeed, I thought it was. Lovely convertible, again very stylish, rear-engined. Another charming Estafette, again in very good nick. CX, Capri. This is just a car park, so we're doing rather well, aren't we? A Dauphine, Peugeot Cabriolet, Simca, the model of which I'm not entirely sure. Let me have a look round the back and we shall find out. It's not Simca Sport, but it doesn't say which model of Simca Sport. I shall have to look it up. A Diane, Renault 5 Turbo, Alpine Renault, lovely little Fiat 500 next to a Panhard CT, Matra Murena. God, it's hard to know where to point the camera. Citroen SM, Alpine Renault V6, Peugeot 504 Coupe, Diane DS, Alpha GTV, a couple of Renault 4s, another DS. It's amazing. For a French car lover, amazing. A Peugeot coming in on the back of a breakdown truck, or has come in on the back of a breakdown truck. Hopefully being delivered, not actually broken down. So look round the next row. Beautiful Lancia. Some Mini Sport. Beautiful car. Next to another beautiful little Alpha. Opel Kadett Estate. Nice Volkswagen bus. Carmen gear in a dubious colour, but anyway, I don't think it does the lines true justice. An XM. Lovely 16 next to BX. Another Cadian. 2CV on the move. And then an early DS with the separate headlights next to a DAF Aeromatic 66, MG Midget, a couple of Volkswagens, nice 203, nice early Beetle, and then the Chrono number 743, Sporty Visa, Rally Visa, Rare Visa, Renault 4 on the move, a yellow Hummer. I had the privilege of doing a road test on one of these for a now defunct 4x4 magazine quite a few years ago. They have a terrible press, particularly amongst the green people, partly because of Top Gear telling lies about their fuel consumption, but as something to drive it was exceptional. Super comfortable, just an excellent vehicle to drive. I really enjoyed it. A Mustang on the move. Coming the other way, about to run me over, is a Renault Gordini. So there we go, Rouen Retro 2022 is done, show number 1 ticked off. 4 hours of very enjoyable meandering round some beautiful French classics and a very large auto jumble. Just to give you an idea of the size of the place, this bit I'm walking through probably is less than half of the car parking area. So the van's up ahead. I'm going to have some lunch and then I'm off to Lisieux, or near Lisieux, for tomorrow's event. So I'll see you there.